Where are you based actually?
What?
Where are you based actually?
Oh, I'm in New York. Yeah. Yeah. How
Okay.
about you?
I'm in Argentina actually, but I'm coming from France.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I am just looking at the topics. Sorry, I was in back-to-back meeting all morning, so I'm just trying to just
sure,
know what I'm gonna chat about.
sure, no worries. Um, so I will launch the live on X. Um,
Hello, hello.
Hello,
Hey,
Limon.
How's it going?
good. How's your hackathon stuff going?
Going great. I was just like finalizing the platform that we will use to vote for the selected teams and then the ongoing judging, and all of it will be done through a frame as well. So Inception.
Yeah, very cool.
Awesome. So we are live on Twitter. I will just retweet on my side.
Okay.
Um, and all good to start. At the end, we will keep a Q&A, like 10 minutes, something like this,
I'm
for people who have questions. I think it's,
I'm good right now.
yeah, okay.
So I should
So,
get with the
so
monitors. Hey,
yeah, that's fine. No, no worries. Okay, all good. So thank you for having us and you there, because it's quite unique that have Farcaster in a community meeting like this one, especially because you are just started to have a team, right? Yes, that's nice. Okay, so thank you for everything. So basically, the end goal behind this meeting, this session, is to showcase how we can build actually on Farcaster and see a bit about the opportunities behind that, because I I personally think that Farcaster will be the next thing that you have to build on top of it. Because yes, you have a great opportunity, especially if you are a builder and you need traction with your product and so on. So basically, I will just introduce myself first. So I'm the co-founder of Dev2Pack. So we are a woman-focused community, especially for people coming from Web 2. And so I think with Farcaster, it's a great fit. We will see why to deep dive on it. And so basically, yes, feel free to introduce yourself on your side with pleasure to start. Linda, if you want.
Sure, I can go first. Yeah, just background on myself. I joined the Farcaster team 2 weeks ago, so I'm newer, but I've been building on top of Farcaster for the past year and a half, building Bounty Caster. Very familiar with building on Farcaster, and also very much agree. I think this is definitely an area that you should strongly consider building. I'm very, very optimistic about Farcaster and Frame's mini apps specifically when you combine it with on-chain transactions, which is why I ended up joining the team. And then, yeah, been working in crypto for like 11 years now. So very passionate about crypto as a whole too.
That's awesome. You are also one of the co-producer of the Vitalik film movie.
Yeah. So I was working on that on the side. Well, as of yesterday, I'm not allowed to share it, but the mainstream release is April 15th. So we were following Vitalik and the Ethereum Foundation as they were upgrading with the merge. And so kind of learning a little bit about the culture of Ethereum and just Vitalik as a person. And so we feel that's like a good lens into showcasing like what's happening in the community because you have like an anchor of a person versus just like talking about decentralization and blockchain abstractly. So we're very excited by it.
That's amazing. Yes, thank you. Limoni?
Yes, yes. So I'm from Rome, Italy, and I'm co-founder of Urbe. It's a community for Web3 builders based in Rome, active all over Italy, but also in educational activities for developers all around the world. I'm also co-founder of Builders Garden, which is this product studio I co-founded with some friends from Urbe, actually. And we've been developing on Farcaster for a year and a half, like Linda. I didn't join the I didn't join the Farcaster team, but I've been very active, especially with frames since like the first release, which was around 1 year ago. I've been like super active shipping many of them now with new version that we'll see in this session. I'm even more excited about it and about Farcaster in general.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome because I feel like everyone on Farcaster stay on Farcaster. So that's pretty cool. So let's deep dive into Farcaster itself, make you a bit an overview about it. So basically, what is it? And especially what's the difference with other social media like Lens, like Twitter, and so on. First.
Yeah, so I can take that. So Farcaster is a decentralized social network, so which basically means that there's no one single company that is controlling who can use the protocol or who can build on top of it. Why that's relevant is Twitter is a centralized company, so I love Twitter and I use Twitter, but if you actually build on top of Twitter, that you run into like all kinds of issues with like being rate limited. Sometimes they don't like what you're building, so they actually just cut you off from building on top of it, which I've had friends experience. And even just building on top of Twitter myself over the past year, we also run into a lot of issues. So having one company kind of dictate whether or not you can use this platform or not is not exactly exciting to me in working in the crypto space. So Farcaster allows anyone to build, anyone to use the platform. How it's different than something like Twitter, specifically in terms of features, is have something called frames. In this case, it's the second version of it, so frames v2. You can kind of think of them like mini apps. So basically, as you scroll through your feed, you come across these actual applications within the feed themselves. So you can kind of look back to like maybe early Facebook days where there was like Farmville and things like that. This Facebook eventually actually hampered a lot of this kind of development. Even early Twitter days, there were applications like this built on Twitter, but they actually like hampered the development of this because they were interested more in centralizing, kind of focused on their company. So Farcaster is very focused on growing these frames mini apps ecosystem. So the idea is that you're scrolling through your social feed and you can come across all kinds of games and applications. It could be DeFi. It could be playing arcade games, or it could just be doing like personality quizzes or whatever you want. So we're very excited of this like thriving ecosystem of mini apps, especially when you combine it with on-chain components. So we recently added a Warpcast wallet. So Warpcast is this client built on top of Farcaster, which is the team that I'm part of. But anyone can build a client. So think of someone is building a Twitter equivalent on the Farcaster network. In within Warpcast, there's a wallet component. So when you interact with these frames and mini apps, you can seamlessly do an on-chain transaction within these frames and mini apps. So when you combine these two, we think that's extremely differentiated from anything that you can even possibly have on Twitter. As far as Lens goes, I think I personally want to see both succeed. I think what's just different is how Farcaster and Lens have approached developing the product and protocol. So Farcaster specifically believes in this like what they call product-led protocol development. So the idea is we're going to be putting a lot of resources into building Warpcast as a product because you want to build eventually like first class like user experience with onboarding and actually using the app, which is going to drive growth into the app itself. So once there's enough users in this ecosystem, you are able to then attract a lot of developers. Where I think Lens has a different approach. There's no right or wrong answer in my opinion, but Lens has a very different approach of like, hey, we're really built out this protocol. And we're not going to be like focused on like building out a client to drive growth through it. We're kind of leaving this to the ecosystem build out together. So I think that's just reflected in just a different kind of experience when you're using the client. I'm really excited about WordPress wall and like really drive for a like, product feature that we can use to then bring in users. That's just one approach. Happy to pause there. I know the Farcaster Warpcast part can be confusing, but basically Farcaster is a protocol. Warpcast is one client built on top. Anyone can build a client. Many have already done it, but Warpcast is like the featured, like one we're driving features towards.
That's pretty cool to showcase this. I'm actually thinking about Telegram too. So I wanted to know if Farcaster is chain agnostic.
Yeah, so right now, you can connect Ethereum addresses and Solana addresses. So it is chain agnostic in that sense. The Warpcast integration is Base and degen chain. But over time, we'll be adding more and more of these integrations. We are not like religious about what needs to be used, but we're just very practical of like, where's the user base? What are they interested in? So just also for context, the team is 18 people. So at any one point, there's, only so much you can build. So where there are users, we will build for.
Sure. So just to let you know, Telegram actually will restrict everything related to non application for Ton blockchain itself. People have to be actually on Farcaster and reach out to us to know how to build on top of it. So it's a great fit. So Limoni probably will deep dive into the frames topic. So Linda covered already what is frames itself, but probably you can introduce itself, for example, a successful frame that has been done recently to more context.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe I can share my screen so it's easier to show. I like showing, not telling. So let me see. Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, let me minimize this. Perfect. So yeah, this website that I'm running here is like a frame tutorial that we built internally within Builders Garden. And as you can see, there's also like an example here on how like the different frames that have been built on Farcaster so far. So basically, as Linda said, like frames, especially V2 frames, are interactive apps that can be shared within a social feed, and you can interact with them. There's been an evolution with respect to the initial, let's say, version. As you can see here on the left, this is a post by Perks. They shared this link, and the link which was like a, let's say, a more dynamic version of the open graph preview that you see whenever you share a link on Twitter, on Telegram, on Discord, whatever, because this link is also showing some buttons that you can click to interact with a custom experience built by, I don't know, a third-party developer. So you could trigger an on-chain transaction, you could open an external link, and other internal operations within the app itself. Frames feature instead are more closer to what Telegram mini apps are. So you basically have a web application that can be served within a feed. So instead of showing this static screenshot, I can show you, yeah, talking about just framing, for example. So this is my profile page on Farcaster with my feed, and as you can see here, there's this post with a bunch of text, and I shared this link here, and this is rendering this mini app for just frame it, which is the hackathon Linda was talking about in the beginning. And when I click on apply now, it opens this web view with my application and website running through it. And the cool thing is that within this web view, I can inherit the Farcaster context coming from my user profile. So if I go, for example, to apply, I'm already logged in as limone.it, and so I don't have to sign in again. And the same goes for transactions, especially if I'm going to use a frame through my mobile Workcast app. ever since they introduced the wallet, I don't even need to connect an external wallet, but I can interact with the user wallet that is inside the Telegram app. And as you can see, if I go on the website here, it's the same one. So it's just you can have a web application, a standard web application developed with Next.js or React or any other framework that you like, and you can make it work in Farcaster. So this is for Just Frame It. This is another one we built within Builder's Garden. It's like a betting. Sports betting mobile sorry frame where you can bet on sport events. Linda was mentioning what is it? Yeah, I was mentioning Farmville, for example. This is another fun one that we created to um, play this game back to the old Facebook games. But there are many. There are a ton of them, and always more coming. So this is my frame collection. So much like you have an app store on your iPhone or Android device, you have also a place where you can save your favorite frames and interact with them. So let's say like this Ponder one, for example, is for social prediction. So it's, yeah, in this case, it's triggering me to sign in with my Warpcast mobile app. Yes, and you can basically like vote and on a poll, for example. Another cool thing that they just introduced, I don't know if you, Linda, want to talk more around this, but for frame developers, there's also a lot of incentives in building more of these experiences. Because in the end, what I like, the main reason why I'm interested in frames and mini apps in general is because in my experience as a builder, the hardest problem to solve is not around building something or creating something, it's more around distributing it. So finding users that um, can really want to use your product, right? Within frames and mini apps, you can have these web apps, your web app or your application, whatever, inside an existing application with let's say a well-formed user base which is ready to use your app. So the cool thing is that whenever you ship something as a Farcaster frame, you already have access to a very large user base that is ready to test your product. And the other interesting thing is that they recently introduced these developer rewards to incentivize developers keeping to build, popular frames that bring more people to transact on chain, bring more people back to Workcast every day. So I know of Farville, for example, because it's of course something that we developed in house. That there are many people that weren't active on Farcaster, even like friends or friends of friends that didn't even know about Farcaster, that now open the app, open Workcast every day, created a Farcaster account just to play Farville. But I guess this is the case also for Farcade, which is another, probably is in my opinion, is the most successful one, even in terms of like users and impact it had. Interact on Farcaster, on WorkCoin as well. And it's very cool because you have different games that you can play. GeoCrush, yeah, this is just a video. But it's really interesting because you can also be very, very creative in the experiences that you can create, which was a big limitations of Frame V1. And then it really helps you finding new users for your product. Or since I've seen there's Felipe Macedo in the room as well. Yesterday he tweeted something about testing new product ideas and running product discovery features through frames, because it's much faster to test things with frames and then move them as a standalone app once they get enough traction, let's say. Yeah, I don't know if
Is complete.
yeah.
No, that's awesome because you showcase in fact that Web2 application can also fit into Farcaster. So that's pretty nice to see that, and probably how we can, for example, get feedback from the user.
I mean, like it's all embedded within what you're building here, because for example, in the case of Farville, Usually, whenever we ship something on Farcaster, I think it's good practice to have a new channel dedicated to your product where people can post either like feedback or ideas or whatever. For example, in Farville, there are a lot of people posting about requests or stuff that is related to the game. So this is for sure one way in which you get feedback and also attention, because of course people posting in your channel bring more attention to your product, especially if they share things. So you see, like this, for example, is a bug report, and then of course it's inside Forecaster. So there are a lot of users as well that are reaching out directly in direct cast. So it's I think that the feedback loop that we've been able to achieve in these 2 months of building Frames V2 has been incredible and allowed us to iterate fast on different features.
Yeah, this is I say this like well before I joined the team, like I feel Farcaster is one of the best places where you can get your first 1,000 users and to give feedback and iterate quickly. So when we had built Bountycaster, basically as Lamont said, like putting a channel where you can kind of share updates on what you're building is really valuable for users to keep up. And then I think building in public, oh, a bounties channel. Yeah. Perfect, thank you. And so this is kind of where our bot is posting, but basically like getting a lot of unfortunately posted much since I joined the team because we're working on the side. But basically this is like very much building in public kind of culture where people love to support each other, and this is where you can like easily get like user interviews or feedback, or a very common use case we had on Bountycaster was people put up bounties for getting user feedback on products. So yeah, I think that is like one of my favorite elements. We also have to upgrade our frames to
Yeah.
V2. So as you can see here, all of these are V1. So I think V2 is a lot more powerful. Yeah, I guess like is there do you want me to cover like I guess like one thing I'll say is one advice. Um, I would for sure if you build a frame, figure out how you can add some share component to it, because that's a
Yeah.
really great way of having the frame go viral within the feed. So like even if you're playing, let's say you're playing a game, at the end you have your score. So have a share on Farcaster score that will automatically put together a cast that says, hey, this is my score. Hey, I'm looking for certain kind of seeds in Farville. I think that is like a very unique component that you don't necessarily get in other places when you have this like native social feed integration. So I would definitely add a share component, and I can share uh, a mint, a Warpcast mint frame that has a share component where you can kind of just like copy that code. But I think that's really valuable. And then in terms of the developer rewards leaderboard and how these frames in the Explorer page are ranked, it factors in both like frames usage, so like how many times were your frames open, but also number of on-chain transactions in the frame. So you can even think about like other places where you can mint something in your frame. So a common part of like, so there's like a ball game in one of the frames where you can like play a ball game and just like kind of like shoot hoops. Yeah, that's the ball frame. That was like one of the first, that was actually one of the first frames that got me like so excited about Frames V2. It's so basic, but in the end, whatever score you get, you actually mint the score. And so a ton of people have been minting the score and they want to like show their score on the leaderboard. And then this gets shared in the feed. And this frame also earns some revenue from the mints. And the mint on transaction get fed to the developer reward. So basically, if you are driving usage to frames and either through opens or on-chain transactions, we try to reward you in Warpcast through either like monetary rewards or just also distribution. So something to consider as you're building out your frame.
I think
Thanks.
another thing that I missed is around notifications. Another which I think are very important. So following up on the share features that Linda was mentioning, within frames and within WordCast, you can also send notifications to users that added your frames your frame to their list. So for example, this is Ponder notifying me about a new prediction that I might be interested in trying it out, and I think it's very powerful to run user engagement. So this is an example we also run. For example, for Farville, we send notification every time a new, yeah, like your crops are ready to harvest, or there's another frame called Clunkermon notifying when some events, in-app events happen, and you might want to trigger a user action. You can send this notification, and I think it's a very powerful tool.
Yes, thanks for showcasing all this application. Actually, I wanted to ask what is missing in terms of application. If you have two or three applications that we can probably get, yes, just have idea to build on top of Farcaster on your side. I know Linda put a great list last time on X, so probably, yeah, nice.
Yeah, so there's a someone build channel on Farcaster, which is basically like, hey, someone build this, and there's like a bunch of people sharing ideas. And I aggregated the ideas a few weeks ago, going back to a few months. So here's basically this list of frames that people want to see. What's really cool is that because there's a person that suggested this, they can be your first user and advocate, and so they can help share the frame if you do end up building it. But I think there's a lot of cool stuff here. Basically, like think of just any like app you would see elsewhere, like that can just be built as a frame. So it doesn't even need to be like super like specified for Farcaster.
Got it. And do you think being in base, on base, help to be on Farcaster? Because I think they have like a bounty, a specific bounty weekly reward, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to build on base, but I think one nice component is you are plugged into Warpcast Wallet, which integrates base, and then also the base ecosystem is very like vibrant on Farcaster. So I think you'll get a lot of support from the base ecosystem as well. You can qualify for grants, and they just have large distribution. Like they're going to be like Coinbase Wallet is integrating Farcaster and is going to be its own client. And so over the summer, they're going to be pushing a lot of frames in their ecosystem. So when we built Bountycaster, we ended up building on base because we were like, oh, we get like the perks of what is Coinbase distribution and support if we do well. So that was why we chose it.
Yeah, that's useful. Okay, and wanted to know what is clearly the Farcaster Builder International community, because I saw it's quite active, especially last time they are created based fellowship, especially for Farcaster. So if you have insight about it, Limoni or Linda.
I don't know much about it. I know that like they started from India specifically. I think it's FBI, and they've been doing a lot of work and shipping a lot of stuff within the Farcaster and Base ecosystem in general. And since it was going well, I guess they expanded to other countries. But I haven't been following much lately, so I honestly I don't know how to answer. But they were among the most active community on Farcaster.
Yeah, they're
It's
gonna be doing some frames hackathons, so they're gonna still keep that up. And then I just chatted with Base today, and they're doing like a big like frames hackathon push as well. And they have also community leads in different countries. So I think they're focused on yeah, like I mean they're actually hiring for a bunch of people who are interested in joining Base. I know they're hiring for a bunch of these roles, but like Philippines. Like West Africa, East Africa, and a few other areas that they have right now as country leads. India is another one. So they are very, very focused on like international expansion and something we're very aligned on and want to I mean, that's the whole point of crypto is having it be very global. So very excited to work with Base and FBI and teams like that to kind of have more international expansion.
I think it's time now to introduce probably your program, Limone, about just framing. It's one of initiatives that you have to showcase if you want to build on top of Farcaster. It's really great. Feel free to share.
Yeah, let me share real quick again. So yeah, since why just frame it? So I've been like so passionate about building on Farcaster and Base that I and witnessed like the potential behind like this opportunity that I decided to organize like these 2 month build sprint. So it's not the typical hackathon where you are competing for bounties and winning prizes, but it's more a way to help other people create cool frames that can bring more people on chain first and fun experiences in the end. I think for everyone, for every like developer and builder out there, it's very cool to like reach metrics as like the ones that I'm showcasing on the website here. Like Farcade, they have like 20,000 daily active user. I think it's an amazing, like stunning number. And with frames, it's much easier to get to there. Not that it's easy to do it, but I think it's easier definitely. And so what we want to do with Just Frame It is basically mentor 6 teams for 2 months
Especially
with bi-weekly demo days, so that at the end of the 2 month sprint, hopefully they will have something launched in production with many active users running daily transactions even on Base. So applications for these are closing on in 5 days, as you can see this Sunday. We will select only 6 teams, unfortunately, because if we really wanted to mentor and help teams, it's not easy to give this type of support to, I don't know, hundreds or like even more than 20 or 30. I think it's very difficult to to provide this type of like support. But the idea is to have like these 6 teams running for 2 months, sharing their progress and getting feedbacks from people from Base, Purple DAO, WordCast. I mean, Linda will be involved in this as well. And a couple partners that are also offering their API credits or developer tiers for free during the program, in a way that we are giving builders all the tools and all the support they need to build something, and hopefully they will succeed. So that this is the end goal, and the final thing that I wanted to say is that it's all online, but we will have a meetup in New York during Farcon, which is the annual Farcaster conference organized by the community and ecosystem. So we will probably have an hangout there, and then this buildathon will be finalized and complete in Rome. So during these bi-weekly demo days that people will have to attend, there will be a set of judges giving them votes and scores according to their progress. And the top 3 teams of the program will win actually a build residency fully covered from like travel to lodging in Rome, where we just opened our own Web3 hub. So it's the first Web3 hub in Italy, and we are happy to welcome the international community. So I think that Just Frame It is a good opportunity to connect online and then finalize and strengthen the relationship within each other in person in Rome.
Actually, inside the ecosystem, we are really looking for this kind of initiative overall, because we are not just looking for to be onboarded, but mostly to be follow up, because the follow up is the best thing if you want to have real products at the end. So thanks for sharing that. I know someone just asking if she can apply again with an improved idea.
Yeah, totally. apply twice, and we will try to merge the submission, or keep only one. I mean, we'll reach out anyways.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, the team behind this initiative is really great, so don't hesitate to talk with them. On top of that, and yes, actually, the goal is also to onboard and know more about the resources that we can use to just get started on Farcaster itself.
Full dive?
Yes,
Okay.
about quick start, having more about quick start resources that we can use to get started.
Yeah, maybe I can share some links in the chat in the meantime. But so within Builder's Garden, we created this mini app, Next.js template or starter kit. And it's compatible with both Farcaster and WorkCoin. So it's very like basic boilerplate repository with the standard features that you might need to interact with the Farcaster SDK, or interact also with the WorkCoin mini kit in this case. Because I think that, I mean, seeing what worked very well for Farcade, like having a mini app that is active on different ecosystem is also a good opportunity. And there are ways in which you can have one single web app that is compatible with a different ecosystem, right? So we didn't yet deploy anything on WorkCoin, so but you can use this mini app to this template that we built to deploy on Farcaster, and maybe even remove the stuff from WorkCoin, or deploy on both. Like it's very flexible and easy to use. Then there's another website that I linked previously, but I will link again. Builders.garden. This is another like let's say documentation like website we built, and then I always check out the official documentation from Farcaster XYZ, of course, which is updated with all the specifications and change log that happens in time.
Mm. That's so cool. Okay. So in fact, when you want to do a frames, you have two options: or starting from scratch with your own application, or just create a frame from a current application. So what you probably is it better to start using frames, like building frames by using a specific application? I saw the Uniswap tutorial last time. Probably it's nice to start with that, to just explore it, and then after that create your own application with a program like just to frame it, or if there is any other program. Felipe, if you can hear me well. Probably
I can, yes.
you can showcase a bit what you are doing with Talent Protocol. Actually, I think it's interesting. You want to be more active on building frames, right?
Yes. So I think first of all, hi everyone. Wasn't expecting to participate, was just here to support and listen. But I think what Limone mentioned, which is we kind of changed a little bit our product approach to use frames as a way to ship faster and iterate faster. So instead of building a bigger app, we're experimenting with more kind of with frames that focus only on one feature, one simple thing, and to understand if that works and kind of iterate on it and the constraints that a frame gives us. So kind of it's a smaller design space. We have more technical constraints and even a smaller size to add elements. It makes us simplify. And yeah, one that we're iterating, experimenting now is actually to reward builders. So basically, based on your weekly activity on GitHub and contracts that you deploy and your builder score, we give all these builders rewards automatically every week. So just by shipping, and basically the frame is the interface where your builders can see the leaderboard, where they stand, how much they won this week, if they're eligible or not, and yeah, so it's a simple interface, and a frame kind of solves this problem much easier. But of course, as you mentioned, the frame is also a web app. So if you go on the website, even if people don't have a Farcaster account, they can still see the same thing. But we lose kind of that authentication. So people don't, because on Farcaster you don't need to authenticate. You automatically see your metrics. On the web version, you will need to connect the wallet to authenticate.
Thanks for sharing another initiative on Farcaster community initiative. That's pretty cool. Right now, I wanted to know how we can grow the user base when you are new inside Farcaster. Like probably when you just start, you are a bit reticent to say, okay, I will go only on Farcaster. So is it great to be on Twitter and on Farcaster or only on Farcaster? What do you think about it?
Yeah, that's a great question. And even for this initiative, the Builder Rewards, that was something that we considered. Should we focus only Farcaster only? Should we also talk about it on Twitter? And I think the conclusion is, I think for now, it's better to be on both. Because I think we will always be, especially for this, be Farcaster first. Because again, the experience is native. You can just check the frame directly without leaving WordCast that has the native authentication. But what we want, Farcaster is still a very small niche. So what we want is also to show other people how Farcaster can be better. So I think talking about what you're doing on Farcaster on Twitter is also important for new people to create that curiosity and for them to try things on Farcaster.
Create a scope about action itself. And another question is more related to, not for you, Felipe. Thank you for sharing everything. It's more related to, for example, actually we can use Youp to post, like to cast on Farcaster, but and on Twitter in the same time, but in the future, anything like Typefully, a tool related to scheduling tweets or anything like that will happen on Farcaster? Like scheduling tool?
Yeah, so Yup is getting deprecated because they recently got acquired, so that's not going to be something people can use in the future, unfortunately. I would like to see some aggregator that would do both Twitter and Farcaster. I think I might bring that up internally as a potential project, but yeah, unfortunately, just there's just so many things everyone's prioritizing. I will say that has been like a common feedback point of like, oh, now I have to like post in two platforms. So that I totally understand that pain point. Just for context, the like top priority items right now for the Firecaster team in terms of building has been Warpcast wallets, working on improving frames v2, and then also just like general like spam social feed algo improvements. So anything else kind of is hasn't been like the top priority these days. Timeline for improved official docs. Yeah, we're working on that right now. I mean, I joined the team 2 weeks ago. That's one of the things that I am focused on. So probably this week is something I'm going to be working on. But yeah, at all times things have been really chaotic. So very, very top of mind for me.
I can imagine you have a lot of topics to take care of when you are just starting. Yes.
Oh yeah, but we definitely want to make sure it's like a good developer experience, and thank God there's been like so many wonderful community members too. I mean, like the resources that Limone shared, like these are really great resources as well. So definitely very grateful that so many people have created such great content too.
Yeah. Do you have any question on the community side? Don't hesitate. It's so kind. We have both great speakers there to talk about how to build on Farcaster. So just to let you know, in 2 weeks we will have a special workshop led by Samuel about how you're gonna build your first frame itself. So it's more practical. Actually, today it was more about the ecosystem side and know about the opportunities. And thanks for sharing everything. So yeah, don't hesitate if you have any question. Otherwise, I think it was a pretty nice session to learn more about Farcaster itself and the developer ecosystem. So yeah, just a great thank you. And if you have anything to say just before leaving, we'll be happy. Limone or Linda.
Oh, yeah, I mean, just very excited that y'all are interested in building. So I'm at Linda on Warpcast, so you can just DM me if you need feedback on stuff. Otherwise, very excited to see what y'all build.
Yeah, super.
Same here. If you have any question, feel free to ping me on Wolfcast. Always available to answer and help in any
Yeah,
ways
the
as
community
possible.
is friendly. It's super friendly. That's super cool for welcoming new builders. So yes, let's build right now. And see you in 2 weeks to talk about how you're gonna build your first frame in practice. Thank you for everything and have a nice day.
You too. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.